The Jesus we see in many churches today, if not most, is very different from what he actually looked like.
People that have mass hallucinations all the time about a lot of things.
We're laying eyes on the actual gospel of Jesus.
The Jesus we see in many churches today, if not most, is very different from what he actually looked like. People have mass hallucinations all the time about a lot of things, but we are laying eyes on the actual gospel of Jesus. This was the only Jesus I ever saw when I was growing up, but it has troubled me as to why Western culture has taken hold of this portrait as though it was painted by Peter himself. While Jesus posed for a long time, several images of Jesus Christ have depicted him as light-skinned in almost every portrait. However, checking through the letter written by Linus to Caesar, he described Jesus in a very detailed way that might contradict the famous paintings of the Lord. Many suggest the letter was a fake, as Linus' existence was never mentioned anywhere in history. But if the criticism turns out to be false, what could have been his relationship with Jesus Christ, and how was he able to describe him so vividly, like one who dined with him daily? Join us in this video as we unravel the truths in the letter Linus addresses to Caesar. The letter to Caesar in the 20th century is one of the earliest depictions of Jesus, the Divine Mercy image, which was popular among Roman Catholics and Anglicans. The pattern of the image is said to have been miraculously shown to Saint Faustina Kowalska in a vision of Jesus in 1931 in Poland. Faustina wrote in her diary that Jesus appeared to her and asked her to paint an image according to the pattern she saw. Faustina eventually found an artist named Eugene Kazmersky to depict the Divine Mercy image of Jesus, with his right hand raised in a sign of blessing and the left hand touching the garment near his breast, with two large rays, one red and the other white, emanating from near his heart. These rays indicate that the image represents the graces of divine mercy poured out upon the world, especially through baptism and the Eucharist. Many different versions of this image have been painted, but Jesus made it clear in the vision to Faustina that the painting itself is not what is important. When Saint Faustina first saw the original image that was being painted under her direction, she was disappointed and complained to Jesus, "Who will paint you as beautiful as you are?" In answer, she heard these words, "Not in the beauty of the color nor of the brush lies the greatness of this image, but in my grace." Another significant painting of Jesus was the Head of Christ, by Warner Sallman, where he portrays Jesus from his head to chest region, with his gaze fixed in a direction. Sallman stated that the Head of Christ was the result of a miraculous vision he received late one night, proclaiming that the answer came at 2 a.m. in January 1924. The Head of Christ is venerated in the Coptic Orthodox Church after 12-year-old Isaac, who was diagnosed with cancer, saw the eyes of Jesus in the painting shedding tears. Father Isaac Solomon of St. Mark's Coptic Church in Houston testified to the miracles on the same day, and on the next day, Dr. I.F. Rur, the family physician, examined the youth and certified that there were no traces of leukemia. S.V. Mundi, by Leonardo da Vinci, was also among the earliest paintings of Jesus. It portrayed Jesus in a blue Renaissance dress, making the sign of the cross with his right hand, while holding a transparent crystal orb in his left. The image served as a vehicle for spiritual communication between the spectator and the likeness of Christ. Clearly, we find that the inspiration behind early representations of Jesus came from visions and revelations, as he revealed himself to them. However, in the letter of Linus to Caesar, his description of Jesus is not based on either of these. Rather, it seemed as though he walked and moved with Jesus every day while he was on earth. It was not recorded that Linus was a disciple of Jesus, so what kind of relationship did they have? What you're about to hear will leave you speechless. Linus was a governor of Judea before Pontius Pilate, who wrote a letter that gives a vivid description of Jesus. The letter of Lentulus is an epistle of mysterious origin that was widely published in the 15th century. The letter greatly influenced how Jesus was later physically depicted in art. Christopher Millis, the 18th-century librarian of Genoa, stated that the letter was written in golden letters on red paper and richly bound, but was lost. A 19th-century scholar believed he could trace the letter down to the time of Dion, but this is generally not accepted by present-day scholars. Different manuscripts of the letter have been printed, and it was used by Ludolf in his own writings on the life of Christ. The next printed manuscript of the letter was in the works of Saint Anno, but it was neither their work. According to the manuscripts, a certain Jacopo Colonna found the letter in 1432 in an ancient Roman document sent to Rome from Constantinople. The description of the letter agrees with the portrait of Jesus Christ drawn by Nepo and Saint John Adom. The proof that it is authentic lies in several facts that form its basis. What did the letter contain? In the letter, Lentulus describes Jesus as a man of great power and virtue. Some people refer to him as the prophet of truth, while his disciples address him as the Son of God. Lentulus portrays Jesus as a man of medium size with a venerable aspect. He compares the color of his hair to that of ripe hazelnut, wavy and curly about the length of his shoulder. It is parted at the top of his head after the pattern of the Nazarene. His face is cheerful without any wrinkles or spots, while his brows are smooth. According to his description, he has a quiet beard, and his eyes are blue-gray and bright. His stature is straight, and his arms and hands are beautiful to behold. He is terrible in his reprimands, sweet and amiable in his administrations, and cheerful without loss of gravity. He was never known to laugh but often to weep, and was considered the most beautiful among the children of men. To determine the authenticity of this letter, we must first compare it to the scriptures within the Bible. The statement that describes him as a person of venerable aspect, who can be both feared and loved, aligns with Proverbs 1 verse 7, which says that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. His disciples understood him as one who shows love and justice and follows his Father's will to the core. The letter also depicts his hair as long, which is controversial. However, recall that he was a Nazarene, and it was their sworn oath to never shave off their hair. The letter also states that Jesus was terrible in his reprimands, aligning with Proverbs 3 verse 2, which says, "For whom the Lord loves, he corrects." The statement that he was never known to laugh but often to weep supports Hebrews 4 verse 15, which says he was touched with the feeling of our infirmities and in all points tempted like we are. One last controversial statement in Linus' letter described Jesus as the most beautiful among the children of men. However, Isaiah 53 verse 2 states, "He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him." Many scholars suggest that this discrepancy could stem from different people's spiritual understanding of Jesus.